now we come to the third one, agency by ratification. So what is ratification? Ratification here means certification. You certify, you verify, or you accept the contract which was made. So that is the meaning of ratification. Under the law, how it happens, how is the agency by ratification happen? It may happen in two situations. First, when an agent has exceeded his given authority. Here meaning the agent being given a limit of authority, but he has exceeded that limit of authority. Dia dah melampaui the limit. Or when a person who has no authority at all, never been appointed as the agent, but acted as if he has the authority. Kalau bahasa pasarnya kita kata dia mandai sendiri, make contract on behalf of the other person. So these are the two situations how agency by ratification may happen. Exceeded and without authority. So I give you one illustration for each situation. This one is that the agent exceeded his authority.
This is an illustration where an agent has exceeded his given authority. For example, Ahmad, the principal, appointed Ali as his agent to buy for him a house with the price of not more than 300,000 ringgit. Ali then contracted with ABC Properties Sdn Bhd, buying a house on behalf of Ahmad with the price of 350,000 ringgit. In this situation, Ali has exceeded his given authority. Due to that, agency relationship between Ahmad and Ali is terminated, and therefore Ahmad is not bound to the contract with ABC Properties Sdn Bhd. However, if Ahmad agreed and accepted the contract made by Ali, agency by ratification existed between Ahmad and Ali, and therefore Ahmad is bound to the contract with ABC Properties by way of agency by ratification.
Alright, so in the first place, the agent was appointed where the principal Ahmad here appoint the agent to buy the house, but the principal provide the limit. The house should not be more than 300,000. But what happened? The agent contracted to buy the house exceeded the authority. So bila dia exceed the authority, automatically the relationship between this principal and agent is terminated. No more relationship. So meaning that Ahmad is not bound to this contract of this 350,000. So consequently the agency relationship kat sini terminated, therefore contract not binding on the principal. Okay, however, kalau Ahmad accept, certify, maybe dia kata 350,000 not much different and he interested with the house, so dia accept, dia certify the contract. So in that case, there is agency by ratification between the principal and the agent. So the contract is binding with the third party, between the principal and the third party by way of agency by ratification. So itu maksud dia where the agent has exceeded the authority. Tapi kalau principal did not accept, not agreed with the contract, in that case principal is not bound to the contract. Then the second situation tadi apa dia? When someone who contracted on behalf of another without authority. So this is the illustration.
Created using Powtoon.
So from the illustration here, in the first place, Randy did not give any authority to his friends to sell his car. He only telling them about his intention to sell the car, tapi tak bagi any authority to them to sell the car on his behalf. So but what happened the next day, William ni sell the car to Sam without authority. So ni dikatakan without authority because he was not appointed to become agent to Randy. So now if Randy disagreed, Randy is not bound to the contract because William has no authority to sell the car. Tapi kalau dia agreed, then Randy is bound to the contract with Sam by way of agency by ratification. Maknanya kat sini, William here becomes an agent by ratification. So Randy ratified, so dia bound to the contract. So when the agent exceeded his limit of authority or when someone who has no authority at all, if this happened, the principal has a choice, has the option either to reject or accept the contract. So if he accepted by virtue of section 149, meaning that there is agency by ratification. So principal is bound to the contract made by such agent. However, if he did not accept, agency relationship does not exist. So principal not bound to the contract. So these are the options for the principal. Kalau accept, bound to the contract. Kalau tak accept, not bound to the contract. However, kita ada conditions. There are 9 conditions must be fulfilled in order to make the ratification becomes valid ataupun the principal may ratify or not. So the first one is that the contract was done by the agent either exceeding or without authority. Only in these 2 situations, okay? Second, the contract must not illegal. Bukannya contract yang haram lah. The agent contracted expressly in the name of the principal. So when the agent make contract, sama ada exceeding authority or without authority tadi, so dia mesti when the time make the contract with the third party, contract in the name of the principal, not under his own name. What happened in this case, the agent contracted under his own name. So that's why principal cannot ratify. Kita tengok contohnya dalam illustration ni.
Created using Powtoon.
Okay, so the problem in this case is that the agent, satu, tidak exceeded the authority, and then second, he contracted in his own name, not in the name of the principal. So that's why it was held that the principal cannot ratify because the agent is not a valid agent by ratification. For contracting under his own name, principal cannot ratify the contract and principal not bound to the contract. So this is the illustration from the case. Okay, the next condition is that the fourth one, the principal must actually exist. Principal tu memang ada wujud, betul-betul ada masa contract was made by the agent. Fifth, principal must have contractual capacity, must be an adult, must be sound mind. Ikutlah contractual capacity which you have learned before, right? Okay, and then since principal must have full knowledge of all material facts relating to the contract, everything must be made known to the principal. So if something that missing, which is without the knowledge of the principal, the ratification is not binding. So dia kena tahu semua benda. 7, principal must ratify the whole contract, not only part of it, which is only maybe beneficial or profitable to him. Tak boleh separuh. Dia kena, kalau nak accept, the principal must accept everything under the contract, must ratify the whole contract. Okay, and then the 8th, ratification must be made by the principal within a reasonable time after the contract was made. So what is reasonable? It depends on the circumstances or the subject matter of the contract. So we have 2 cases, which is quite important case in order to prove that. In this case, agent contracted to buy eggs. So this one, perishable goods, right? So without the authority. So now the principal tried to ratify the contract 1 week. Dah seminggu baru nak ratify. So this is perishable goods. So that's why ratification was too late, unreasonable. Another case is that, yang ni selalu juga keluar dalam soalan, Grover and Grover, where it was held that a contract of an insurance policy which had been ratified by the principal after the occurrence of the insured event, benda yang diinsurancekan tu was already happened, was not effective. So principal not entitled to claim the benefit of the insurance policy. We have an illustration juga. This video from my student.
Created using Powtoon.
Okay, so I'm sure that you know that insurance policy for the house normally covered the house from any damage ataupun caught on fire. So what happened in this case, the principal did not ratify the insurance contract which was made by the agent without authority, and then after the house was caught on fire, barulah dia nak claim for the insurance benefit. So dia nak ratify the insurance policy. So it was held that the ratification was not effective because it was unreasonable. The ratification was done after the house was destroyed. So that's why it is unreasonable. Okay, and then the last condition is that the ratification must not injure, must not affect the interest of the third party. Tak boleh menganiaya, prejudice the third party. So if the agent maybe without authority or exceeding the authority done something, if the contract is unfair to the third party, principal cannot ratify. This is what being illustrated under section 153. You boleh tengok further dalam this video.
Created using Powtoon.
Hopefully you can understand this illustration from the section 153 here. What happened, okay, under the tenancy agreement, the tenant entitled to receive 3-month notice kalau dia nak suruh evacuate the premise. Okay, but what happened, the notice of evacuation was unfair, prejudice the right of the tenant. Principal cannot ratify because such notice which was given earlier by his agent without any authority to do so. Unfair, prejudice, okay, to the third party. So, principal cannot ratify. So this is the 9th condition. Kalaulah the act of the agent is unfair to the third party, principal cannot ratify. So if all of those 9 valid conditions of ratification is satisfied, the ratification by the principal is valid and binding. Maknanya kalau all the 9 valid conditions fulfilled, principal may ratify, ataupun if the principal had ratified, that ratification is valid and binding. Consequently, contract binding between principal and the third party by way of agency by ratification. However, if any, even one of those 9 valid conditions not satisfied, so the agent is not a valid agent by ratification. Thus, the principal cannot ratify. Even though principal had ratified, the ratification was not valid, not binding, so no binding contract between principal and the third party. So that is the effect of agency by ratification kalau dia fulfill or not the 9 conditions. Okay, so conclusion. Agency by ratification, you have to remember that it only happened in 2 situations. Exceeded atau without authority. Itu je. So if any of these 2 situations happen, principal has the choice by virtue of section 149, has the option to reject or ratify. If the principal rejected, not bound. If the principal accepted, contract is binding. Provided dengan syarat all the valid conditions of ratification are fulfilled or satisfied. So you kena tahu first how it happened, and then what is the option for the principal, and then what are the valid conditions to make the ratification binding or not. A clue ataupun tips for you lah. Agency by ratification ni selalu sangat keluar dalam soalan. Popular lah. Kalau saya selalu sebut dengan student 5 bintang. So this is one of the example where the agent exceeded authority. Intan has been instructed by Mutiara to buy 50 kgs of rambutans for a price not exceeding 7 ringgit per kg. So what happened? Intan ordered the rambutans under her own name. Ni masalah dah. Right, her own name from Pak Majid for a price of 10 ringgit per kg. So here it means that the agent exceeded his authority. So kalau exceeded, boleh ke principal ratify? Masalahnya dah ada kat sini. Dia contract under her own name, under the agent's own name. So Mutiara refused to accept. So Pak Majid nak demand for the payment, Mutiara refused to pay on the ground the price was too expensive and furthermore it was bought by Intan herself. Right, so this is the question yang lebih kurang lah selalu keluar untuk agency by ratification to show that the agent has exceeded his given authority. Now the issue samalah macam tadi, whether there is formation of agency by ratification pula. Okay, between Intan and Mutiara, and then whether Intan is a valid agent sebab tadi dia contract under her own name kan, so dia valid ke tak, and then whether Mutiara is bound to pay Pak Majid, okay, whether there is a contract or not between Mutiara and Pak Majid for the rambutan under the agency by ratification. So these are the issues. Now law and authorities, you boleh tengok, bacalah nanti. Ni application. For me, saya suka buat macam ni je lah, point-point-point saya suruh student saya buat macam ni. Tapi point-point-point tu maknanya step by step, you have to explain. You answer the issue tadi yang you jawab. So you nak kata apa? Intan is an agent by ratification because she has exceeded her authority. Itu point dia. So she was authorized, inilah cerita dia kan. Okay, by virtue of section 149, Mutiara has the option nak accept or not. So what happened? Mutiara had refused, okay, and maknanya therefore Mutiara tak ratify, did not ratify, and thus she is not bound to the contract. Further, okay, lagi tambahan pula, Intan is not a valid agent by ratification because she contracted with Pak Majid under her own name. So, by virtue of Kelly Maxted tadi, maknanya kat situ Intan is a not valid agent. So, principal not bound to the contract. So, consequently, by virtue of section 149 and the case of Kelly Maxted, Mutiara not bound to the contract by way of ratification. Sebab ini, sebab ini. Okay. So, tu dia. Cara nak buat application lah, lebih kurang. Okay, conclusion, summary of the law. Right. So ini pula contoh soalan where the agent contracted to buy fire insurance policy for the house of the principal without authority, even though there was no instruction. Maknanya without authority. Okay, and then they nak ratify 3 months after, and the house was already been destroyed by fire. Ini sebiji macam cerita Grover and Grover tadi kan. Okay, so actually the cases in your book tu you mesti baca faham sebab kadang-kadang dijadikan soalan. Tukar-tukar cerita sikit lah, jadi soalan lebih kurang. Alright, so dekat my YouTube channel nanti you boleh tengok. Right, saya ada bagi teknik how to answer the problematical questions. I like tu kan, issue, law, application, conclusion, how to find the issue semua tu lah. Tapi video ni dah lebih kurang dalam 25 minit kot. Jadi you tengok sendirilah nanti